The silent side of Jupiter. The war had gone on for years. Humanity was tired, broken, and losing fast. The alien race called the Thalkar was strong, cruel, and had advanced weapons. Earth's defenses were falling one by one. Hope was fading. Captain Ilara Kane stared out the window of her small scout ship, the Sentinel. She was alone, floating near the dark side of Jupiter. The gas giant looked peaceful, its swirling red storms spinning slowly. But Ilara wasn't here to admire the view. She was here because of a whisper, an old secret passed down from her mentor before he died in battle. "Watch the shadow side of Jupiter," he had said. "When all seems lost, look there." Ilara didn't fully understand it back then. Now, with Earth nearly destroyed and the Thalkar pushing toward Mars, she finally came. Her ship moved slowly through the silent space behind Jupiter. It was quiet. Too quiet. No stars. No light. Just darkness. Even the ship's sensors showed nothing. But Ilara felt something. A strange energy, like something ancient was hiding here. "Captain," her eye assistant, Vera, said softly, "I am picking up a faint signal. Very old frequency. Deep human code." Ilara leaned forward. "Play it." The sound that came was just static at first, then a voice. Robotic, broken, but clear. "Phantom protocol activated. Operation Eclipse. Confirm command authorization." Ilara's heart raced. She had heard those words before, long ago during her time in training. But no one ever talked about them seriously. They were part of an old legend, a secret plan made by Earth's leaders during the first years of the war. A plan to build a hidden fleet, a ghost fleet. Vera continued, "Do you wish to respond, Captain?" Ilara took a deep breath. "Send my authorization code. Let's see who answers." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the stars shifted. Not really the stars, but something in the dark began to move. Shapes. Big ones. Silent. Unseen. As if the shadow of Jupiter was waking up. Dozens of lights blinked on in the distance, faint at first, then brighter. Ship outlines appeared. Long, powerful vessels covered in dark armor. They had no flags, no IDs, but they were human, and they were alive. Ilara whispered, "The Phantom Fleet. It's real." Her ship's screen lit up with a new message. "Fleet command to Scout Sentinel. We've been waiting. Is Earth still standing?" Ilara quickly typed back, her hands shaking. "Barely. The Thalkar are at Mars. Earth is next. We need help. Now." Another moment passed. Then a deeper voice came through. Calm. Strong. "This is Commander Rourke of Phantom Fleet. Prepare for full fleet activation. Operation Eclipse begins now." Suddenly, the silent side of Jupiter lit up with activity. Engines roared to life. Quiet engines designed to avoid alien sensors. Hundreds of hidden ships had been sleeping in the shadow, invisible for years. Now, they were waking. Ilara couldn't believe her eyes. The size, the technology, the power of this fleet. Earth had built these in secret, and kept it hidden all this time. As the massive ships turned toward the sun, their hulls reflected the faint light. They looked like ghosts, like shadows turned into weapons. Vera spoke again. "Captain, incoming data from Phantom Command. They want you to lead recon and guide the Earth fleet back into position. You will fly ahead." Ilara nodded, locking in coordinates. "Finally, we fight back." As her ship moved ahead of the awakening fleet, she looked once more at Jupiter's swirling storms behind her. For years, this place had been a hiding spot, a graveyard for a forgotten plan. But now, it was the birthplace of a new hope. Humanity wasn't finished. It had just been waiting in the dark. Project Phantom. The secret born in silence. Years before the war began, long before the Thalkar arrived in human space, Earth's top leaders met in secret. They knew peace wouldn't last forever. Humanity had grown too fast, reached too far. Sooner or later, someone, or something, would challenge them. That's when Project Phantom was born. Led by Commander Rourke, the plan was simple but bold. Build a fleet more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen, and hide it where no enemy would ever look. Not on Earth, not near the moon, but deep in the shadows of Jupiter, behind its massive storms, away from all eyes. The ships were built in pieces, launched quietly over years, using hidden stations on Jupiter's moons like Ganymede and Callisto. No one outside the project knew, not even most of Earth's own military. The fleet was powered by dark energy reactors, cloaked by stealth fields, and armed with prototype weapons Earth hadn't dared to use yet. They called it the Phantom Fleet. Now, years later, it was awake. Commander Rourke stood on the bridge of the EHS Revenant, the command ship of the Phantom Fleet. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He had waited a long time for this moment. "Status report," he said. "Cloak systems stable," replied his second-in-command, a young officer named Ilia. "Weapons charge. Fleet ships reporting full activation. All systems green." Rourke nodded. "And the enemy?" "They're still focused on Mars. They haven't detected us." "Good. That was how it should be." Rourke turned to the screen. The live feed showed Captain Ilara's ship flying ahead, her signal locked in. He remembered her name. She had been one of the best cadets during training. Smart, calm under pressure, and a natural leader. It made sense she would be the one to bring the call. "Prepare to enter Phase 2, Rourke said. "We make our move at dawn over Mars." Far above Mars, the Thalkar fleet was preparing for the final strike. Their ships, black and jagged like broken glass, floated across space in tight formation. Alien commanders barked orders in a sharp, echoing language. They believed they had already won. Earth's main fleet had fallen back. Communications were weak. Civilian transports were being evacuated, and there were rumors that Earth itself would surrender soon. But none of them knew what was coming. Back in Jupiter's orbit, the Phantom Fleet moved like shadows. Fast, silent, deadly. No light, no heat, no signal. Just black ships gliding toward the enemy. Inside each vessel, crews who had trained in silence for years were now preparing for war. No music, no shouting, just calm focus. This was what they were built for. In one ship, a soldier whispered to another, "They think we don't exist." The reply came with a grin. "Let's show them they're wrong." Captain Ilara led the way, her scout ship weaving through asteroid fields and sensor lines. She transmitted updates back to Rourke. "Thalkar patrols light in this sector. Weak point located near Mars orbit." Rourke replied, "Copy. Phase 3 begins in 1 hour. Stay hidden." Ilara watched from a distance as the dark alien ships hovered over Mars like vultures. The human colonies on the planet's surface sent distress signals, but no one answered. Not yet. But soon, the silence would break. The Phantom Fleet reached their strike point and stopped. Total silence. No one moved. No lights blinked. Just hundreds of invisible warships, floating in position, waiting. Commander Rourke stood tall on the bridge. "All ships," he said into the command line. "Lock targets. On my mark." A deep hum passed through the decks of the Revenant. Weapons systems were hot. Engines ready. Rourke looked toward Mars, toward the future. "Let's remind the galaxy what humanity is made of." The Thalkar advance. The enemy smells victory. The Thalkar moved like a dark storm across space. Their warships, sharp, black, and full of deadly energy, surrounded Mars like hungry beasts ready to strike. The skies over the red planet were full of fear. Inside Mars' last defense base, Commander Alric paced the control room. The human soldiers around him were tired. They had fought for weeks with no support. Supplies were low. Hope was even lower. Alric stared at the screen showing the enemy fleet. "They're not attacking yet," he whispered. "Why are they waiting?" No one answered. But everyone in the room felt it, the calm before the final strike. High above, in the command ship of the Felkar, General Threx stood tall. His body was covered in black armor, glowing with green energy. His voice was deep and cold. "Earth has fallen silent," he said to his warriors. "Mars is weak. No backup. No rescue." He raised one clawed hand. "Let them feel fear for one more hour, then destroy them." The Felkar laughed, a harsh, metallic sound. Their victory felt close. They had crushed every world so far. Mars would be no different, or so they thought. Far behind Jupiter, the Phantom Fleet was ready. Captain Ilara watched the Felkar ships from her scout's hidden location. She zoomed in on the lead alien vessel. "They're spreading out," she reported. "They think no one's coming." On the bridge of the EHS Revenant, Commander Work nodded. "Then it's time." He gave the order. "Begin silent advance." One by one, the ships of the Phantom Fleet moved forward. No light, no sound, just pure stealth, like shadows sliding across stars. They formed a wide arc around the Felkar fleet, surrounding them from behind without being seen. Work's plan was working. Meanwhile, on Mars, Commander Alric received a strange transmission. Unknown signal detected. Human origin. Encrypted. His eyes widened. "Is it from Earth?" The tech officer shook his head. "No, it's coming from behind Jupiter." Alric leaned closer. The signal was short, but powerful. "Hold. Reinforcements arriving." He didn't know who sent it. He didn't care. For the first time in days, he smiled. Back in space, the Phantom Fleet took final positions. The enemy had no idea. The Felkar were looking forward, while the real danger was now behind them. Commander Work opened the fleet-wide channel. "This is for Earth. This is for the fallen. Make every shot count." A low hum filled the air as weapons powered up. Missile tubes opened. Plasma cannons locked on targets. All across the dark side of the battlefield, humans held their breath. Then Work gave the final command. "Fire." From the silent black, the first wave of missiles launched. No warnings, no sound, just pure destruction. The missiles struck the rear of the Felkar fleet, explosions tearing through their engines and shields. Their ships spun in confusion. Command links broke. Alarms rang across their bridges. General Threx turned in shock. Where did they come from? Before he could answer, the second wave hit. This time, it wasn't just missiles. It was warships. The Phantom Fleet uncloaked, glowing with power, charging straight into the Felkar lines. Plasma beams lit up the sky. Railguns fired like thunder. Alien ships broke apart like glass. Humanity's ghost fleet was no longer hiding. It was hunting. Captain Ilara led a squadron straight into the center of the alien fleet, her cannons blasting holes in their formation. "We're not done yet," she shouted over the comms. "Push them back." On Mars, Commander Alric saw the lights in the sky, human ships flying in from the dark. "By the stars," he said, "they actually came." Cheers erupted in the Mars base. Soldiers ran to their weapons. The fight was back on. The Felkar were in full retreat. Ships exploded. Command signals failed. Their formation collapsed. And in the chaos, General Threx stared at the screen in disbelief. This was not possible. But it was. From the shadows of Jupiter, the ghosts of Earth had returned, and they brought the fury of a dying planet with them. Shadows come alive. The ghost fleet strikes. The battlefield was chaos. The Felkar fleet, once calm and full of confidence, was now panicking. Ships turned in every direction. Alarms screamed. Their dark formation was broken. From the black silence behind them, the Phantom Fleet had arrived. Not with words, not with warnings, only fire. Commander Rourke stood tall on the bridge of the EHS Revenant, the red light of battle reflected in his eyes. "Push through their middle line," he ordered. Split them. Break their chain of command. Across the fleet, captains responded. Confirmed, Commander. Weapons charged. Engaging now. The hidden ships, silent for years, moved like predators. Their black hulls shimmered as cloaking systems dropped. For the first time in history, the galaxy saw what humanity had been hiding. Sleek, advanced warships with glowing blue engines, energy shields pulsing like hearts, and weapons Earth had never dared to use before. The shadows had come alive. Captain Ilara Kane's scout ship dodged between explosions. She wasn't built for heavy fighting, but she was fast, and she had a job to do. Thalkar command ship spotted, she said, transmitting location to fleet. Through her screen, she saw the massive alien flagship turning slowly, searching for the enemy. It was too late. Two heavy destroyers from the Phantom fleet broke formation and rushed in, weapons glowing. The first missile slammed into the alien flagship's side. The second followed with a direct hit to the engine core. A ball of fire erupted in space. The Thalkar flagship was gone. Just like that. On the Thalkar side, confusion turned to fear. Their sensors couldn't keep up. Their weapons missed the fast, invisible ships. They had never faced this kind of warfare before. "This is not the human fleet we crushed," one alien officer screamed. General Threx growled in rage. They were hiding, like cowards. But he knew the truth now. They weren't cowards. They were hunters. And they had chosen the perfect time to strike. In the skies above Mars, humans cheered. From the surface, the colonists and soldiers saw the black ships of the Phantom fleet sweeping through the enemy like a blade through smoke. Commander Alric watched the feed from orbit. "I don't know where they came from," he said, "but thank the stars they did." He turned to his team. "Signal all ground forces. Launch counterstrike. This is our moment." Mars was no longer on defense. Mars was fighting back. The Phantom fleet's technology was unlike anything the Thalkar had seen. One ship fired a gravity burst cannon, dragging a cluster of enemy ships into each other. Another used phase torpedoes that passed through shields and exploded from inside. Every weapon had a purpose. Every shot counted. Commander Rourke watched as enemy after enemy was destroyed, but he wasn't smiling. "We're not done yet," he said. "Thalkar aren't beaten until they run." His eyes locked on the final wave of enemy ships trying to escape toward the edge of the system. Target their retreat. No survivors. Captain Ilara received the new orders. She nodded, adjusting her flight path. Time to finish this. Her ship joined a squadron of interceptors racing to cut off the escape route. The Thalkar saw them coming and panicked. One alien commander sent out a message. "Fall back. Evacuate. The humans have risen from the dead." But there was no safe place to run now. The ghosts of Jupiter had turned real, and they had no mercy. By the end of the battle, the sky above Mars was clear. Pieces of alien ships floated like ashes in space. The remaining Thalkar had vanished, scattered and broken. The Phantom fleet regrouped silently. Commander Rourke stood alone for a moment, looking at the stars. "This was only one battle," he said. "They'll come back, stronger." Captain Ilara's voice came through the comms. "Then we'll be ready. This time, they know we're watching." And just like that, the shadows began to fade again. The Phantom fleet disappeared into the dark side of Jupiter once more. Waiting, watching, protecting, turning the tide. The day humanity stood tall again. The battlefield was silent now. What was once full of fire, screams, and chaos had become a graveyard of broken Thalkar ships. Glowing metal floated in space like dark confetti. Small fires burned inside shattered vessels. Pieces of the enemy drifted in every direction. Mars was safe, for now. But the fight wasn't over. Inside the EHS Revenant, Commander Rourke stood over the central display table. It showed real-time data, human ships forming new defense lines, Mars orbit under protection, and Thalkar signals retreating fast toward deep space. He studied it all without blinking. They'll regroup, he said. They never stop this easily. Captain Ilara's face appeared on the screen. We struck hard, harder than they expected. But if we don't finish this now, they'll come back smarter. Rourke nodded. Then we hit first. He tapped the screen. A new sector lit up. Sector V9, a place known only to top commanders. Let's turn the tide completely. Sector V9 wasn't marked on any public star maps. It was a Thalkar forward base, hidden behind an asteroid belt and protected by automated sentries. It was where they launched most of their attacks on human colonies, and it was time to shut it down. Rourke's voice echoed through the fleet. New target, V9. We move now. Strike fast. Strike clean. No warnings. No retreat. The Phantom Fleet, still fresh from battle, turned like a wave and vanished into hyperspace, silent, deadly, and ready to end the war they were never supposed to join. As they arrived near the asteroid field, Vera, Ilara's AI, gave a warning. Multiple sensor nets, automated cannons, defensive grid active. But the Phantom Fleet had something the Thalkar never expected. A weapon called the Eclipse device. A ship-sized emitter that could send out a burst of energy so strong, it blinded sensors, shut down communications, and disabled small defense systems. The Revenant carried it. Rourke gave the signal. Engage Eclipse. A silent wave of blue energy rippled across the asteroid belt. Sentries blinked, sparked, and died. The sensor grid went dark. Thalkar ships scrambled inside the base, confused and blind. That's when the real attack began. Dozens of human ships burst into the hidden sector. Fighters dove through asteroid gaps. Bombers locked onto key targets. Battleships opened fire on power cores and command stations. The enemy tried to respond, but their systems were jammed, their sensors fried, their ranks in disarray. It was no longer a battle. It was a message. Ilara's scout ship flew low over the main enemy station. She watched as it exploded, pieces spinning off into deep space. Control centers down, she reported. They're falling apart. Back on the Revenant, Rourke gave one final command. All ships, full strike. Let's finish what we started. And they did. One by one, the last enemy vessels were taken out. Escape pods were destroyed. No signal was sent. No survivors. When the battle ended, the fleet gathered in silence. They had taken Jupiter's shadow and turned it into a sword. They had turned defeat into dominance. And they had done it together. Rourke addressed the entire fleet. Today, we reminded the galaxy who we are. Not just survivors, not just defenders, but fighters, builders, strategists. He paused, then said the words everyone needed to hear. Humanity stands tall again. On Earth, the news spread fast. Secret ships, surprise attack, total victory. People watched the footage over and over. Black ships rising from Jupiter's dark side, cutting through the enemy, saving Mars. Children called them the Ghost Armada. Elders called them Hope Reborn. And soldiers called them what they were. The fleet that changed everything. A message to the stars. The ghosts speak. The war wasn't over, but something had changed. For the first time in many years, humanity wasn't running. It wasn't hiding. It was standing. Strong, united, and dangerous. The Phantom Fleet, once a forgotten secret buried behind Jupiter's storms, was now the most feared force in the solar system. And the galaxy had seen it. In the silence of space, the Phantom Fleet floated above the ruins of the Thalkar outpost in Sector V9. Smoke and debris drifted slowly between shattered rocks. The stars looked brighter, clearer. It was a rare moment of peace. On the bridge of the EHS Revenant, Commander Rourke stood still. Around him, the crew was silent, waiting. Captain Ilara's face appeared on the main screen. All targets neutralized. No signs of retreating ships. We've shut the door. Rourke gave a slow nod. Then it's time. He turned to his communications officer. Prepare the broadcast. Across every human colony, every space station, every deep-range explorer ship, screens flickered to life. Even in hidden corners of the galaxy, where small human outposts stayed quiet and out of the war, the signal reached. The message came through not just in sound, but in feeling. A calm voice, strong but steady. It was Commander Rourke. "This is Commander Rourke of the Phantom Fleet. You may have forgotten us, but we never forgot you. We were built in silence, trained in shadows, and shaped for the day humanity would be pushed to the edge. That day came, and now we have pushed back. To our allies, we are here. To our enemies, we are watching. And to the stars, we are not done yet." Cheers erupted on Earth, on Mars, on every colony. Children ran through streets holding toy starships painted black. Soldiers who had lost hope stood tall again. Refugees wiped tears from their eyes. The words weren't just a message. They were a rebirth. Somewhere far away, in deep alien space, a Falcar War Council received the broadcast. They had watched the footage. The black ships rising from Jupiter. The crushing defeat at Mars. The destruction of their base. One elder growled, "We should have destroyed them when they were still young." Another replied, "We made one mistake." They stared at the image of Earth glowing blue in the distance. "We thought they were weak." Back in human space, the Phantom Fleet returned to Jupiter. They didn't stay in the open. They didn't accept medals or public celebrations. They simply vanished into the shadows again, like ghosts of the past, waiting for the future. On the surface of Ganymede, deep under the ice, a new chamber was being built. Larger, stronger, better. Not just to hide ships, but to train the next generation. Young cadets in black suits read history on glowing tablets. They studied the first battle, the strategy, the silence, the strike. And on the wall above them, a phrase was written in bold white letters. "Victory doesn't always come from the light. Sometimes it rises from the dark."